With the progression of the It's Up to Us movement, we grabbed at the opportunity to sit down with waste management guru Bea Johnson. And for those of you who don't know who Bea Johnson is or what her lifestyle entails, Bea's family goes an entire year and leaves behind only 1 jar of waste each year. Welcome, Bea.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, 1 jar a year, how?
Well, all we do is follow my method of 5 rules. The first one is to refuse the things that we do not need. The second is to reduce the things that we do actually need. The third is to reuse by swapping disposables for reusables and buying secondhand if we need to buy something. The fourth rule is to recycle, but recycle only what we cannot refuse, reduce, or reuse. And finally, it's rot, which is composting the rest.
Wow, so 5 R's for that complete system to make it work for you.
Exactly. If you follow them in order, and the order is very important, then you'll be able to reduce your trash to this much per year too.
How did you decide to get this started?
Our journey started really in 2006. We were living outside of, basically in a suburb, and we wanted to be closer to a town so we could have amenities within walking or biking distance. Before finding the right house, we rented an apartment for 1 year and only moved in with the necessities. And during that year, we found that when you live with less, then you have more time to do what's important to you, more time for friends, for family, picnics, hikes. And so when we did find the right house, we got everything out of storage, and we found that 80% of the belongings that we had put in there, we hadn't even missed for a whole year. So we let go of them. But it's thanks to that simplicity that we also found time to read books and watch documentaries on environmental issues. That's what made my husband and I sad, thinking about the future that we as parents were creating for our children. And that's what gave us the motivation to change.
The New York Times gave you the title Priestess of Waste-Free Living.
That title happened, back in 2010, and it brought a huge amount of interest to what we were doing.
Now, we've been speaking about this 1 jar of waste this entire time. We need to actually show our viewers, this is the 1 jar. It's amazing. This is 1 jar for the entire year.
Yes. So these are all the things that we could not apply to the 5 rules. So for example, you'll see my son's retainer. There is also a piece of paper that we laminated like 20 years ago that we didn't need anymore, so I cut it up and put it in there. The big black thing, that's my son's foam from his headphones. They all have like weird names, things, but all pretty much synthetic, yeah.
What are your thoughts on Namibia's recent nationwide Clean App campaign?
Well, I think it's a fantastic idea. So I just went did a tour in Katutura, and I was really surprised to see how clean it was. I think I expected it to have much more litter.
What advice would you give to people that are interested or driven to live a zero-waste lifestyle?
Well, I would encourage them to think about the 5 R's. The next time someone hands them something, to stop and think for a moment. Do they really need it?
Exactly.
And I can bet you, like in 99% of the cases, you'll find that you actually don't need that item. So just learn to say no. And in some parts of the world, it can feel like awkward or rude to say no, but just find a sentence that works for you. In my case, I say no thanks, I don't need it. My kids say no, I'm good. The second thing I would encourage people to do is to declutter their home, to go through each room and ask yourself, what is it that you really need? When you let go of the things that you do not truly use or need, you make them available to your community. Some people like us are trying to find things secondhand, so the more things we have secondhand on the market, the easier it is for people to buy secondhand. And finally, the third thing I would recommend is to think about swapping disposables for reusables. So, and maybe look into buying your food without packaging. You have resources here in Namibia where you can buy your food without packaging. In that way, you'll be able to stop packaging from coming into your home, but it's a way also for you to invest your money in a more sustainable unpackaged world for our children.
Bea, I'd like to find out, how do you apply the 5 R's to your water and electricity consumption?
For example, in our house, we're mindful about our water consumption, of course. We know that hand washing, for example, uses more water than putting it in a dishwasher. But we also have installed a gray water system. So all the water from the showers and the washing machines irrigates our plants. For electricity, we're mindful when we leave a room, of course, to turn off the electricity. We have installed LED bulbs. We also now have solar panels. That's something that we were able to do thanks to the savings that we've made with Living Zero Waste. Our whole interior is white, and that was at first only a design choice. When it starts raining, when it starts getting dark, the neighbors have to turn their lights on, but we don't need to because our interior stays bright.
Finally, the last question I would like to ask you, you mentioned that time was one of the benefits. What other benefits have you gained from living the zero waste lifestyle?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question, because I think it's probably the most important one. It also has been amazing for our health, because thanks to zero waste, we've been able to eliminate all toxic products from our lives. On my skin, the makeup you see is just chocolate powder right here, burnt almonds on my eyes. But we also found that it saves a huge amount of money. When you buy something that's reusable, it translates into huge cumulative savings over time. But we're saving 40% thanks to this lifestyle. We've discovered a richer life, a life that is rich on experiences instead of things. To us, that's what life is all about.
And there you have it. A zero waste lifestyle is possible. Will you take on the challenge? For more stories and interesting personalities, watch this space.